Good day, everyone. My name is Malcolm Bottman from the Malcolm Bottman Sports and Entertainment Podcast. This evening, I have Charles the Klerk that will be joining us on this podcast. Charles is formerly from Park and he has been selected as a Protea angler. Good evening, Charles.
Good evening, Malcolm. Thank you very much for hosting me on the sports podcast. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be here this evening. I want to say thank you to you guys, to the producers, and everybody involved in the show.
Great stuff. It's only a pleasure. We should actually thank you for being on our podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for coming through. Charles, a lot of people, if you say angler, they do not understand the term, but it is actually a profession in fishing.
That's right, yes.
Elaborate a little bit on that so that our viewers can just understand. Because if you're gonna go out and say, I'm gonna go do angling, a lot of people may not understand where you're going, what are you gonna do.
Yeah, I think you see, Malcolm, once you go professional or when things becomes a little bit more complicated, and you climb up the ranks, that's when the English terms comes into play and things becomes a bit difficult. So angling is actually fishing.
Yes.
In angling, we have different facets. The same like you would have in your table tennis. When I explain, I always tell people, table tennis is just a facet of tennis. So in angling, we have different. I do one of that facets, and that's where I've obtained my national colors for the fishing.
Yes.
That is what we call papgooi.
Okay.
In other words, that is overhengel. We stand from the banks or staan op die droë grond en jy vang daarvan af as jy gooi in. Other people will know surf, which is at the ocean. That is sea fishing.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do have different facets and different divisions in the fishing industry.
That's awesome. So you've been doing this for probably most of your life. You've been fishing as a small boy with your father. Take us through that.
It was memorable times. It was fun times. A lot of times when we went fishing places like Bronkhorstspruit Dam.
Yes.
We will sit there, people will ride their boats, and it would have been a social occasion.
Yeah.
We didn't know that fishing could be a profession, almost fishing could be a sport. We thought that fishing was only social.
Yes.
You go there, my father goes there with his family members, extended family members, brothers, and they will have a heck of a time away from the wife and the children. Unfortunately, I was there because I had to work.
Yes.
At that time I had to work when I went fishing. The guys, I think, will know, a lot of the local people will know when you go fishing, that there's a canoe involved, which you will take the fishing rod into deep waters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was my job. So I was privileged, and that actually caught me. That's how I got caught in the sport.
Okay.
And in the sport of fishing. And for me, it just took off.
Yes.
Yeah, becoming an adult. I once sat at Bronkhorstspruit Dam. I was busy fishing on my own. And then I think there was a club there that came fishing. And they had a competition there. And whilst I was sitting and fishing, the guy came and he asked me a few questions. And I answered him. And he says to me, have you considered taking fishing, professional? And I said, no, never. And he says,
Yes.
why not? I said, I don't know why, but I never thought that you can. They said, no, there's clubs.
Sure.
The same like with soccer and all the other sports. And you join, you affiliate, and you become a member. And then you take it from there. And if I can just tell you shortly, he said to me, why don't you fish on your own?
Yes.
But start when the competition starts, which was at 7 o'clock. And this is more or less, in short, he gave me the rules quickly. And then when the hooter went off for them to start with the competition, I started fishing with them. And more or less on what he explained to me. And when the hooter went off at 3 o'clock, he said to me, they're going to weigh in And then afterwards, he's going to come check how much I caught. And I went with him. And the guys weighed in and I saw what happened. And then he came and he inspected my bag. You will not believe it. If I was a part of the club at that specific moment, I would have won the competition because I caught the most fish.
Yes.
And that actually, he says to me, see there's no reason for you to not join the club.
Yes.
And then I became a club member. I started off with Cavalier fishing, and then I went to Phoenix Fishing Club. And from Phoenix Fishing Club, I went to Eland, where I'm at currently.
Sure. Quite a bit of a
journey.
Yeah. But that's excellent. You know that, I mean, you've explained it now that when you go out fishing, it's obviously tagged with the wrong intentions. But if you make it what you've made it out to be, I mean, here you got your South African colors. You've also been recently interviewed by the Boxer Advertiser, and yes, and what's very encouraging is also that in November you got a competition in New Zealand.
In Australia,
in
yes.
Australia,
against Australia and New Zealand.
All right.
Yeah. You know, it is a journey to get to where I am today. Because you start off on club level, you need to enter your local competitions, club competitions, and from club you go to provincial, where we fish against the different clubs, and then from there on we go and we fish against the different provinces. At this current stage, you know, it's like Free State, Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, Gauteng, Central Gauteng, Northern Gauteng.
Yes.
There's different provinces that we fish again, and once you've made it on there, you go for your trials, and once you made it, then you go almost like for your nationals. You get selected. There's a criteria that you need to follow.
Yeah.
And you know, you have to go through the ranks. It sounds difficult.
Yeah.
But you know, it keeps you out of the streets. Where we're sitting today, if I can just say, you know, we're in Rega Park.
Yes.
And even though I'm from Rega Park, but I'm not in Rega Park, I'm not caught in whatever happens in here because of I had something to occupy myself with.
Correct.
And I think that is what we try to achieve here this evening, to introduce to our children, and to the people out there something alternatively, to say to them, listen here, there's soccer. And not everybody can play soccer.
Correct.
There's tennis. Not everybody can play tennis. There is fishing. There is other sports. So we're trying, I think that's what you guys also trying to do, trying to introduce different sporting codes to our community so that we can try and get them off the ground and get our youngsters into something.
Yeah. So while we're on the youngsters, how do we, you went with your father, but I may not be able to go with someone because your father went as that was his particular sport. He loved that. But like you mentioned, we have children in school that is basically doing sports and this. How do we get the children to experience what you have experienced as a youngster?
That is a very difficult question. But I think that question is easily answered as well. Because when you become a parent, your life actually ends.
Correct.
You need to start living for your children.
True.
So I think we need to start with the parents, because children doesn't have an income to buy himself soccer boots, to buy himself a fishing rod. The parents are the ones that needs to step up and man up.
Yes.
And if I can just say, my parents comes from the Eastern Cape. They moved away from the Eastern Cape to try and give me a better life.
Yes.
They moved into Rega Park. It's my duty to move forward in life.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to move out of Rega Park to move forward. But it's my duty as a parent today to move up and take it a notch higher. You know, we're climbing a staircase here.
True.
So the parents need to step up and man up and say, you know what can I get my child involved with?
Yes.
And support our children.
Yeah.
And then I was at school with some of the viewers, most probably, they know me personally. And say, you know what, I know Uncle Charles.
Yes.
He's fishing. Let's try and get you into fishing with Uncle Charles, and approach me.
Yes.
And say, Uncle Charles, is it possible for you to maybe have one or two workshops, which I already had in Recha Park and in Pretoria with some local friends of mine, for the children to try and get them. But it ends there because the parents is the ones, when a child comes home and said, I've been at the soccer stadium and I see 1, 2, 3 things.
Yeah.
They need to say, my child, is that what you are interested in? And take it a notch further.
Correct. Sure. All right. Can you tell us about your experience so far in angling? And okay, we've covered what inspired you, right? And then how do you feel to be presenting South Africa? Because I think, any person that's putting on the yellow and gold, there's quite a heavy weight on you. We may not be able to see or televise it. It will be on television, I'm sure, but a lot of people may not be able to follow it because of the interest.
Yeah.
But for you personally, there's weight on you. There's South Africans that's watching you.
Malcolm, it is like you're carrying the whole nation on your shoulders.
I can imagine.
Because this is not something that I took lightly.
Yes.
Not all of us achieve and accomplish certain things on school. Not all of us are A students. And I took fishing on. And when I took it on, I said to myself, I would love to do something with my life to make my parents proud.
Sure.
And today, I sit. And like you said, it's not about my parents anymore. It's about Recha Park.
Yeah.
It's about our community.
Yes.
It's about Ekurhuleni, the city that I stay in. Excuse me. It's about our country.
Yes.
There's other fishermen, anglers that fish with me, that looks up to me.
Yeah.
So when you represent not just the name, the family name. You represent a nation.
Sure.
So going to Australia, being selected to go to Australia, to go represent South Africa.
Sure.
It is the same like a Faf du Plessis would run on the rugby stadium to go represent South Africa.
Correct.
It's the same, because for me, that's what I'm good in.
Sure.
So if somebody will go onto the soccer pitch and he feels that weight, it's exactly the same. The butterflies, knowing that you're not there. If I were to make a mistake, if I go out there and I go do something wrong, my country is I'm going to drag the country's name through the mud.
And yes, definitely, from my side, whenever this event will be televised, I will probably look at fishing from a completely different angle now, because I've never been in any presence of someone that's actually making this such. I can hear from your heart. There's so much of passion that goes with this, and it's not even just a sport for you anymore. It's
a way of life.
It's your life. It's something that you look forward to whenever you get a moment. You just want to go fishing.
Yeah. If I can interrupt you there, a lot of people say to me they will never be able to fish because they cannot sit behind a fishing rod for such a long time. And I say to them, personally, that is the best time I have, that I'm busy with doing intro and retrospectrum.
Sure.
I feel so close to God when I'm at the waters, because the calmness that it brings. I've got time to reflect on my relationship, on my kids, where I faulted. We need time out of our busy schedules.
Correct.
And fishing has given me that.
Sure.
You know, sometimes I go fishing and I sit at the waters from 7 o'clock in the morning until 3 in the evening, and I don't caught a single fish.
Yes.
But when I go home, I feel revitalized.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the waters itself has such a calming effect. Sitting next to the shores and just hearing the water playing, shh,
Yes.
shh, you know, that quietness, and you have time to say, you know what, thank you, God.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that is what we as humans need. We need time to spend with ourselves, time to reflect and to inspect on things in our lives and take it from there. And once you get that passion, something that you are interested in, then it's just going to be, your life will just take a 360-degree turn.
So when you get home, you just like a brand new man.
You can handle the wife again. You can handle the wife again. You know, all that scream of the children and all that, they can give it because, you know, in a week or two, you're going back again. So you look forward to the next fishing trip.
So personal and professional growth.
Personally, for me, it has been, you know, the growth it's unstoppable. I haven't stopped growing.
Yeah.
Because when I started off, I never knew that, you know, I'm going to have to work twice as hard to achieve what I've achieved so far. You know, when you go and you fish and you compete against fellow anglers, fellow fishermen, so to speak, you are labeled, especially if you are a non-white.
Yeah.
We are called POCs, which means a person of color for all the non-white fishermen.
Okay.
And you need to work double as hard because I think there's a stigma toward that. You know, you can't fish.
Yeah.
And I had to, you know, put everything in. It becomes a bit pricey. I think with any sport, when you go all out, it becomes a bit
Very
pricey.
pricey, yeah.
But you know, it is worth it. It is worth it because a lot of times we don't all Mike Tyson's.
Yeah.
We cannot fight physical battles. So when I'm at the dam and I'm in a competition, this is what's doing all the talking and all the fighting for me.
Okay.
I keep my mouth shut.
Yes.
I concentrate on what I have to do. I work out of my battle box, my fishing box, and my fishing rods does the talking. At the end of the day, you know, it is such a joy when you go and you go to the weigh-in and you have beaten not just once or twice, I'm sorry, not just one or two, but more than half of your fellow competitors.
Sure.
And that is an achievement. You know, professionally, when you sit next to, if I can mention one or two names in the fishing world that is quite big, somebody that makes some of our fishing dips, a Loki Levis.
Okay.
You know, that is like running onto the pitch with a Faf du Plessis. You know, when you sit there and you've just heard, when you go buy some of the fishing equipment and dips you use, you hear that, you know, Loki Levis makes this, or Skalk makes this, or Barry makes that. And you know, you don't know these guys. You don't know them.
Yes.
But when you sit there and the guy comes to you and he says, one of your friends, and he says, listen here, Charles, do you know who sits next to you? And you're like, no, why? And they said, that's Barry. I'm like, okay, Barry.
Yeah.
Don't you know Barry? No. And they're like, you know, this is a springbok angler.
Yeah.
A Protea angler. And you're like, oh my word.
Yeah.
And then you come at a weigh-in at the end of the day and you've beaten him. You know, it's
that must be awesome.
You know, that's, and they beat you as well. You know, it's not just you beating them, but you know, it's motivation and it's growth.
Yeah.
It shows that, you know, where you come from and where you're going to. And then you say to yourself, you know what, if I can beat this person, I can go further.
Sure. Sure, Charles. I don't know what to say. So just explain the feeling that when you pull out your fish, or let's say your competitor pull out the fish, Now you turn away and you look and you see, oh, my line is still in the water, but my competitor has pulled out this massive bass. Or what goes through your mind?
You start hammering yourself.
Yeah.
You start wondering, what are you doing wrong? What is it that he does that you're not doing? If I can just say, when I used to go buy my fishing equipment from our local store here in Boksburg,
Yes.
I think maybe some of the locals would even know Johan Kiert. He said to me something very important that I took with me. He's not with us today anymore. And that still lingers in my mind, those words, that all your information that you need for whatever's happening is right in front of you.
Sure.
You just need to look to your left
Yes.
and look to your right. And whatever the guy on your left does, try and mimic.
Okay.
And follow him. Because maybe he's fishing on a distance of 30 meters and you're fishing on 50 meters. So he's got a golden highway where the fish is at.
Yes.
So if you try and mimic and get to that distance, you're bound to catch fish.
Sure.
There's no two ways about it. So it's the tricks of the trade.
Yes.
You need to learn, and that only comes with experience, and associating yourself with profession anglers and taking it and taking whatever they say to you, take it to mind.
Yeah.
And not let anything slip under your watch. Because the minute you lose focus,
Yes.
is when you lose the game.
Sure.
You need to stay focused.
Now, I want to touch on that because your trip is coming up in November. There's not much time. How do you prepare for such a big event? Also knowing that you have South Africa on your side, and you're gonna carry out that flag. So, what goes through your mind? How do you prepare yourself for this?
I think at this stage of my career, I don't want to sound arrogant
Yeah.
in saying that I've been preparing all along for this day.
Great.
So since childhood,
Yes.
I was prepared for this day
moment.
because it doesn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
It is a journey. At my age, it took me, if I can say, like 53 years
Yes.
to get to where I am.
Sure.
With my dad, going with him, and all the way into local, club, national, professional. And when you get to this stage, you are expected to know what you are doing.
Yeah.
You've been selected from the best of the country. I've not just been selected from a local club or like Ireland.
Yeah.
I've been entering competitions on national level where I've represented Gauteng,
Yes.
the province, against Free State, Northern Cape, like I said previously. I've been to Namibia to fish there with the Tri Nations tour. And so all of that has been preparation.
Preparations.
So what makes it difficult now is it's unfamiliar
Correct.
territory, going overseas. The only thing you can do here is research,
Yes.
because there's not much that has happened. Last year was the first time that the facet that I'm fishing in went overseas and fishing against Australia. That was with the seniors.
Okay.
I'm now in the masters.
Sure.
So it's the first time, I'm the first group of the masters that's going to go to Australia. So you cannot phone
Yeah.
a friend. You need to
Know your game.
to go back. Go back to the notes that you have made all these years, and say to yourself, you know what? I've came here not because of the color of my skin.
Yes.
I came here because I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And when I'm going to go to Australia, I'm going to do what I was taught.
Yes.
I'm going to do, and you need to be able to think on your feet when you're a fisherman.
Sure. Cool. So, Charles, here in front of us, we have your rod and some colorful things that's lying here. Can you explain to us your equipment? I've also seen a very big box on the other side, but we'll touch on the box. Just explain to us what is happening here. What do you need all this colorful things for as well?
Malcolm, if I can say to you, you cannot go fishing without fishing line. You can maybe go without a fishing rod,
Yeah.
but not without fishing line. So what we have here is basically a full setup
Okay.
of what you will need when you do go fishing. This is a short rod I brought with. It's
Yeah.
basically an 8-foot rod.
Okay.
At the end of the 8-foot rod, you'll notice that there is a ball.
Yeah.
That is what we call a practice ball. We use that for practice when I practice on my own.
Yeah.
The valve dam is very far away from here. I go to the sports field, I set up a scenario for me there, and then I start practicing
Okay.
so that I don't lose any equipment. So what you will basically need to start off would be a fishing reel,
Yes.
a fishing rod filled with line, and you're basically almost ready to go fishing. And then this is the so familiar small things that people don't really like. We call them the policeman.
Okay.
Yeah, this is basically a policeman. You will put it onto your line.
Yes.
You'll attach it onto the line. If I can just here in the middle, attach one quickly. After you've cast the rod into the water, you will attach the policeman, and then it will stay in the water.
Yeah.
And as soon as the fish bites, it will give you an indication. It will basically move up and down.
Yes.
And if you are lucky, it will give you a real run.
Okay.
And that is music to any fisherman's ear. You sit at the back on the bakkie, you sit there for 3 hours, there was no bite. And then your reel runs.
Sure.
You jump up and you run for life. So that is basically equipment in short. There is other things that goes with it. But for this specific session that we have, I didn't bring a lot of equipment because we just basically want to introduce and just give them a short introduction to it. The big box that you have mentioned here, this is now basically on a more professional level.
Okay.
When we went fishing, my dad had all his equipment in a backpack.
Sure.
So now when you get to the waters and you basically, the equipment that you have here, the box, it will be on a stand so that you have everything that you need right here. You cannot waste any time to go to the bakkie to get out something. So this is my reel. You will see over here, I do have a spare spool. If I were to throw and the line break off, immediately I have a spool that is already full. I just put a band on here to protect it.
Okay.
It's filled already, and I'm ready to go. And then I also do mark them out with them certain distances on it.
Okay.
If I just can see quickly, I think I have, even with your line, you get different colors in the line, but that doesn't really, it's just for visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on a professional level, if I can just say, there is certain rules and regulations that goes with it. The thickness of the line.
Okay.
The stuff, the type of hooks you're allowed to use.
Yeah.
The type of baits you're allowed to use.
Okay.
But that we can touch on on another time when we have more time.
Yes. All right. No, that's very, very interesting because you look at all the stuff that's in there, it looks like spray but like you said, we'll touch on that.
Yeah. If I can just, in short, you have different, like I said, there's different sprays, and all of it's filled.
Yeah.
And all of them has a different flavoring. If you can maybe just smell that.
Yeah.
Some is sweet, some is bitter, some is strong. And these are some of the things we use to lure the fish to your bait. You'll have where the ball is now, You will have
Wow.
your hook and your sinker there, and you will put your feed on there, and then you will spray some of your baits on there, as well as we have different floaties which we use to put on the hook link.
Sure.
You smell, this smells like garlic.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have different ones. Some we make ourselves, some we buy. This is a honey one that I also make myself, and we use it. What basically, if I can just in short say to you, I always say, guys ask me, but can fish smell? And I always say to them, if a shark can smell a drop of blood kilometers away,
Yeah.
I think that fish can smell. I think they can.
Yeah. Charles, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself now, how is any person that is maybe handicapped or it is maybe in a wheelchair, can someone take up the sport that is in that capacity?
Malcolm, this sport is not just for the fit and strong, it's for any person.
Yes.
This sports, we do have the children's division, which is the pen copper. Then from there, you go up to the under 13s and 16s, the young ones, and they can also obtain the national colors as youngsters. And then you have your seniors, and then you have your masters, and from the masters, then you go into grandmasters, which is the old men.
Yes.
So to the ones that is gray, actually grayer than myself. Yeah. So there is different categories, and then we also do have the category for the people that is in wheelchair, the disabled.
Okay.
They also do fish on their own. If you are fully handicapped, you throw by yourself.
Yeah.
You have somebody that will walk into the water that will net the fish for you, and that will put the fish. So you do have an assistant with you.
Okay.
So even though you're handicapped, depends on the handicap, your condition.
Yes.
Yes, it is open for each and every person. And like I said earlier on, the different facets there is within the fishing. You can also say that, I've got a back problem, I cannot stand so long. Then you go into a different facet where you sit on the chair the whole day in the water, and you sit and fish for the whole day. You're not on your feet standing around the whole time.
One more other thing, Charles, is that you keep on mentioning that the sport, you sit there for about 3 hours and you may not be able to catch anything. To me, there might not be a crowd of people that come and watch you. So it also eliminates the fact that sponsors, it also eliminates the fact that it is a recognized sport, but it's also not really that recognized.
100%.
And how do you, because if I look at that box, the box alone looks expensive. The equipment in there is probably just as expensive as what a box is maybe. But how do we get sponsors out there to fund this particular sport?
I think that is a difficult question, so to speak. Like I said earlier on, that's where parents need to step in. But when it comes to a professional level, everything that I've done so far comes out of my own pocket. I do my own finance. If I have to go for S8, which is at Bloemhof Dam, or at the Vaal Dam, I need to pay my own transportation. I need to get myself there. Accommodation, I need to pay for it myself. Equipment and everything, you need to pay everything for yourself. And because the sport doesn't have spectators, it doesn't generate an income. So it makes it very, very difficult. I think, that's where the Minister of Sports needs to come into play. When the soccer stadium is full at whichever stadium, let's take for example here by us, Ellis Park is full to capacity. He needs to take some of that funds and put it into the other local sports that doesn't generate money. There's a sport like darts. You can go overseas just by throwing darts. But people don't watch it. People don't know that, there's billiards. And those are the type of sports, the same like with fishing. That we need funding that to come into this type of thing. I speak on a personal level that I'm speaking. I'm not speaking for the federation, so to speak. I speak for myself. And that's what I think needs to be done. Because I'm going to Australia, like you said previously. My flight ticket would cost me around about 50,000 rand. that I need to pay for it out of my own pocket.
Sure.
My national clothing,
Yeah.
I need to pay for it out of my own pocket, which is another 10 grand.
Ew.
So it is not a cheap sport, but I don't want that to be
Holding you back.
to scare people off to say, you know what, no. If you do this and you just take it on a social level, you will get so much joy and pleasure out of it.
Yeah.
And you will, like we said earlier on, your children will have something
Sure.
to fall back onto.
Yes.
Something that say, you know what, if life gets tough,
Yes.
I can go fishing.
Fishing.
If life pushes, I can push back in a different direction.
Yeah. Charles, to the podcast team that's listening, that has been listening, it is absolutely important that we support where we can. This is the reason why the podcast is running. It is important that we can help. Let us come to the forefront. Here we have our very own from Rege Park, and is going for his nationals, or he's got his nationals in fishing, and is being shortlisted to go to Australia in November. Let us put our support behind Charles de Klerk and ensure that he has a fantastic, effortless trip going to Australia. Charles, once again, it was an absolute pleasure speaking to you. I read your article in the Boxhook Advertiser, and I didn't know that I will be able to sit right next to you. It is an absolute honor. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for coming on to the show. We appreciate and we wish you all the best going to Australia, and also with a sponsorship. Everything of the best for you, sir.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. I just want to say thank you to God.
Yes.
We are a God-fearing nation. We always need to acknowledge that none of these would have been possible without Him.
Yeah.
My family, my wife and my kids support me. Like I said, sometimes I go to the dam, leaving here at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, sure.
And like you said, any form of support, financial support, any support would be highly appreciated.
Yeah.
From my side, like I said, I am, I'm humbled.
True.
Through my fishing experiences, it learned me to be humbled, and through you hosting the show, and trying to assist where you can.
Yes.
May God just strengthen you and give you the strength not to get tired of what you're doing.
Thank you.
And for both of us, I think we've been out of the streets for Rege Park.
Yes.
And so if the next person come, you know that you're safe when you're here.
Great stuff.
You're away from the stigma that goes with it. So for the people out there is good in Rege Park.
I fully agree.
There is good in Rege Park. We just need to nourish it.
Yes.
And to make sure that even if it is that, any person or a parent out there that watches the show, that wonders if he can contact me, and say, what, I wonder if there is a person that, you can approach.
Yes.
Yes, you can. This is not just for myself. This is, if I can give back to the community,
yes,
I would gladly do so. So even if we need to have a sports day and try and introduce different sporting codes just to give the children an alternative.
Yes.
Because I think there's too much attention being focused on certain sports only, and children think that, like you said, if you're handicapped, I cannot play soccer.
Yeah.
But if you're handicapped, you can play tennis. There is handicap tennis. There is a handicap team that fishes also national and international.
Awesome. Great stuff. Once again, we want to say thank you to Charles for joining us on this podcast. You'll only have it on Malcolm Bottman Podcast, Sports and Entertainment. God bless. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. See you next time.
Malcolm's a man.
Thank you.